Good morning, everybody. Today's proceedings, like yesterday's, are going to be live transmitted after a 10-minute delay. Those with mobile devices may use them to speak to the outside world about what they've heard in the hearing room, but only after 10 minutes have elapsed since the event that they're describing. They may not be used for recording or photography. Yes. Mr. Barr.
Thank you, sir. Could we have up, please, a UCPI number 38218? Mr. Soracchi, I'm going to show you an extract from Lindsay's first witness statement. Could we have page 16, please? Paragraph 4.23. If you read that, Mr. Soracchi.
Yes, sir.
Is that an accurate account of what happened?
I have no recollection of that, sir.
Do you have any reason to doubt it?
I have no recollection of it. I don't recall ever saying that.
Why would you identify someone as a police informant or a plant at a party?
I wouldn't have, sir.
There's a difference between not remembering something and saying it's not true.
I did not say that, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Seems to have stuck out in Lindsay's mind.
Yep. I can't explain why. I do not remember saying anything like that in her company.
Was trying to point the finger of suspicion at somebody else a device that you could use as an undercover officer to divert suspicion from yourself?
No, sir. I never did anything like that. I was present when other people claimed that, but I never used that sort of conversation. It wasn't in my interest to even start talking about things like that.
Could we take that down now, please? I want to go back to the course of your relationship with Lindsay.
Yes, sir.
Did there come a time, probably in the early months of 2002, when you broke contact with her for a number of days?
I'm sure I must have done, because the relationship ended, but that's not something I remember, really.
Lindsay's evidence was that you had been in daily contact one way or another, for example, by phone or text or seeing one another, and then there came a time when you broke contact, and when you returned, you said that you'd been supporting a friend in crisis. Does that ring any bells?
I wouldn't dispute it. There were many things I said to different people to explain my being away.
What were you actually doing?
I can't remember. Really can't remember.
Would you use excuses like this to cover, for example, going on a holiday with your family?
There would be things like that used, yes, to spend time with family and things like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Did you give any thought to the impact that just disappearing and being uncontactable for a few days without an explanation would have on Lindsay?
No.
Did there come a time when you had an argument with Lindsay in the course of which you said that your mother was dying and then again became uncontactable for a period?
I don't recall that, but that would of course been entirely possible because my mother was dying at that period.
If this was on or about the 19th of April 2002, would that be about right?
Absolutely, sir, yes.
Did you turn your phone off when Lindsay was trying to contact you?
I can't recall, but yes, entirely possible. Had I done so, it would have been on the advice of my back office due to the personal things that were going on in my real life.
Do you mean that your mother was dying?
Yes.
Did you give any thought to the impact you would have on Lindsay of not giving her some anodyne explanation for why you weren't there?
No.
Or even giving her the true explanation that your mother was dying and you were going to see her?
I thought I did. As I say, this was all done in close coordination with my back office, as I call them. So I would have followed their guidance because obviously it was a very new experience for me.
Can we be clear about the basis on which you were getting guidance from the back office? Is it your evidence that they were fully informed about your circumstances with Lindsay by this stage or not?
I don't think so. I think they obviously were aware of what was going on in my real life, and they would just said to me, you need to break contact with anyone you're in contact with.
Did you leave things with Lindsay saying that you would be friends for the moment?
I can't recall, sir. Possibly. I had far more important things, unfortunately, that were going on in my head at that time.
A form of words that left open the prospect of resuming a sexual relationship?
Again, I can't remember for sure, but entirely possible. I was thinking of other things.
Lindsay's evidence is that that's what you did do.
Again.
Why did you leave open the possibility of resuming a sexual relationship?
That's not, I think, what was going on in my head at that time. I think I just wanted to break off and obviously attend to what was going on in my family, my real life at that time.
Lindsay's evidence was to the effect that it wasn't a clean break, that you were giving her mixed messages.
Again, I can't dispute that, but that was certainly not what my mindset was doing at that time, as I said.
Did you give any consideration at that stage to the impact of mixed messages on her?
No, sir.
Is it right that you did meet up with her over the summer of 2002 to go to an event?
I can't remember, sir. Possibly, but these things were not of great import to me at that time.
You told us yesterday that your mother passed away in June 2002.
Yes, sir.
Can we go to 38232, please? It's a UCPI number. Have the next page, please. This is an exhibit from Lindsay's witness statement. It's the draft of a letter which she says that she sent to you in these or very similar terms. If we have it expanded so that you can see the draft, I'm going to give you a moment to look at it, but my question is going to be whether you received a letter in these or similar terms. If you need to see the first page again, just say so.
Yeah, yes, please, sir. think I get the gist of it.
Did you receive a letter in these or similar terms?
I'm sorry, sir, I don't remember receiving a letter. I think I was shown this by my legal team, and even at that time, I've thought hard about it over the last couple of weeks, and I don't recall that.
Lindsay's evidence, as we understand it, is that the letter was sent around September 2020, 2002.
Yeah, I wouldn't dispute it. I just don't remember receiving it.
Can I take it from your answers that you certainly didn't keep it if you received it?
No, sir. No, sir. As I say, I don't recall it at all.
Would you agree that the terms of this letter are such that it's obvious that Lindsay was clearly very hurt?
Yes, sir. I would agree.
What did you do about the fact that Lindsay was very hurt by your breakup?
I apologise, I'm not sure I fully understand.
Or did you do anything?
No, sir. No, I did not.
Did you reflect at all at this stage about the impact of your conduct on Lindsay?
Yes.
And what were your reflections?
I did not like myself very much.
And would it be fair to say these were reflections you would have been having around September 2002?
In September 2002, sir, with the greatest of respect, my mother had just been buried. I'd had to take her back to Italy earlier in the summer. I was trying to work out getting my way back into working, so I was not really thinking of those things. I was thinking about my wider family. I was also thinking about, obviously, the relationship with my then wife and how that was really going south, because that had added even more pressure. I cannot say that I would have reflected more than that.
When would those the reflections you have told us about, when were those?
Well, all the time, sir. I mean, these are things that, even to this day, and even before this whole process started, these were reflections that I would have. Unfortunately, my character is such that more often than not, anything that I have got wrong in life is something that constantly comes back and haunts me, as I would imagine lots of people have the same sort of thing.
As I'm understanding your evidence, you're saying that by the autumn of 2002, your marriage was deteriorating.
Oh, definitely.
I don't need fine detail.
No, sir.
But can you give us, in broad terms, the reasons for that deterioration?
I think it was pressure from the undercover job that I was doing. I think my ex-wife was also building a career for herself, so we were spending little time together, and when we were obviously looking after a young child. I think what happened with my mother, because it was fairly sudden, I certainly wasn't expecting it, had caused even more stress on me, and we grew apart in that period. We were already having issues, but we definitely grew apart even further in that period.
Had you, by this stage, told her that you had had sex with another woman in your undercover identity?
I cannot remember when that came out.
There did come a time when you told her, didn't there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is your best recollection as to when that was?
I think it was... I don't think it was in 2002. I think it would have been later on in the deployment, 2003 possibly, around that period.
Just want to be clear now about the chronology,
Sir.
Looking at your relationship with Lindsay and your mother's illness and death. If I'm understanding you correctly, you essentially bring, subject to the mixed messages, you essentially bring the relationship to an end in around April 2002.
Yes.
And that corresponds with your mother falling ill.
Yes.
And then dying a few months later. Is that fair?
Totally, yes.
We've heard evidence from Lindsay about the impact that your deception of her has had. She described withdrawing from the social circle she was mixing with. She's described feeling that she was manipulated sexually and emotionally. She's described feeling dehumanized, and because of her political beliefs. She describes your conduct as indefensible, and disgusting, and inexcusable.
Yes.
All of those thoughts are entirely understandable, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
Can we take that document down now, please? Could we have up your witness statement, 35550, page 90, please? If we could have paragraph 179.1 expanded. This is your witness statement to the inquiry about your relationship with Lindsay. I'll let you read it, but I'm particularly interested in the way you've described it as a nice diversion.
Yes. Thanks, sir.
So the sentence, my marriage was not in a great place and this was a nice diversion, and I was able to speak about this to my associates because they knew who she was. The state of your marriage. I asked you yesterday what the state of your marriage was in May 2001 when this relationship started, and you said it was okay.
Yes, it was.
You told us today that it was deteriorating in the autumn of 2002. So you didn't start this relationship because your marriage was not in a good place, because it was okay when you started it.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Nice diversion. Is that how you saw it?
I think I did at the time, yes.
Would you accept that it is simply unacceptable to use a member of the public in this way as a nice diversion?
Entirely, sir, yes. Upon reflection over the years, yes.
You also talk about it not being your real world.
Yes, sir.
What impact did it not being a part of your real world have on the way you behave towards Lindsay?
I think it was just that. As this was so far removed, I don't think I gave it due consideration that I should have done.
Because it was her real world,
Yes,
wasn't
sir.
it?
Absolutely.
And you completely ignored that, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Was there a feeling that you could do what you liked with members of the opposite sex in your undercover identity because it wasn't your real world?
I would not say do what I liked, but yes, it was separate to my real world. I was doing this role, and this became a part of it.
Did you understand there to be, did you have any boundary?
I thought I did at the time. But as I say, on reflection, no, not when it came to matters like this.
Can we take that down now, please? You've not apologised to Lindsay.
Not personally, no.
Is there anything you wish to say to her now?
Absolutely. As I said yesterday, I am very, very sorry for having these relationships and for misleading these people. It is no consolation to anybody. I have reflected upon this ever since those years.
I want to return now to the subject of management knowledge. I asked you
Yes, sir.
quite a lot of questions about this yesterday. I'm not seeking to go over that ground again.
No.
What I'm interested in, though, is did there come a time when you told DCI Dell?
Yes.
Can you help us with when you told DCI Dell anything about Lindsay?
I think it would have been at the same time when we had the discussion about Miss McLean. I think we had a meeting, he put it to me, and I explained that I had had relationships and understood that, you know, I could be withdrawn, should be withdrawn, and that obviously it had an effect on my marriage. It was part of the reason we were breaking up.
If I've heard you correctly, you say he put it to you.
Yes.
What did he put to you?
Have you been having affairs?
Did he call this meeting?
I can't remember, sir. I'm sorry.
Did he have grounds for suspicion that you had been involved in sexual activity with people in your undercover identity?
I'm sorry, sir. You would have to ask DCI, the DCI that. I possibly, yes.
Are you able to help us with what the basis for those suspicions were?
No, I'm afraid not.
So did he use the word affairs?
It would have been words to that effect. I can't remember exact details of a conversation, sir.
And just to be clear, what exactly did you say to him about Lindsay?
I can't remember exactly what I said, sir. I recall saying to him, and I believe it was just myself and the DCI in the meeting, that I had had a couple of affairs, that I had got things wrong, that this had had a big effect on my marriage and that things were beginning to fall apart now. And obviously I understood and would abide by whatever decision the unit took about my future.
How inquisitive was DCI Dell about what had happened?
It's hard for me to say. I mean, he took everything on board and obviously said to me that there would have to be discussions and a decision made. He definitely asked me if this was all over now. I confirmed that it was. And he, as I say, said, well, I need to go away and we need to work out what we're going to do about this. So, as I say, I left that meeting thinking that I was done.
What I'm driving at is how much detail did you give DCI Dell about Lindsay and how much did he ask for?
I can't remember, sir. There were definitely conversations. Speaking about both Lindsay and Donna, I don't think he asked me that much. I don't think I was asked for names, addresses, things like that. It was more a conversation of, I have done wrong. He was like, yes, you have indeed. we need now to go away and work out what we're going to do about this.
Understanding that your evidence is that he didn't ask for names and addresses.
I believe he didn't. Yeah.
Did he want to know who these people were?
I can't recall. I don't think so. I think he was more interested in whether the relationships had stopped.
Did he want to know whether they were members of your target groups?
I don't recall him asking me that, no.
So did he ask you anything to establish whether or not they were anti-fascists?
He asked me, I think, how I'd met them, and I said I'd met them whilst I'd been out and deployed with the people that I was alongside. Further than that, as I say, I don't recall him asking me for names, etc.
Did you give DC Idel to understand that they were not activists?
Can't remember.
Did DC Idel ask you anything about how long the relationships had gone on for?
He may have done, and I would have told him, but I don't recall that specific question. It wasn't a long meeting.
How forthcoming were you with DC Idel about the detail?
I think I told him that I had a relationship with Lindsay for a good few months, and that following on from that, later in that year, I had met Donna, and that I had lived with her, but that it had all come to an end. I do not think he said to me that he wanted more detail than that. He was most concerned that these had been stopped.
Did DC Idel say anything else? Did he give you any further guidance?
I think he got quite angry, sir, as I recall. If you want to call that guidance, I would probably agree with that, but it was very coarse guidance.
Coarse guidance, could you expand on that?
He was angry with me.
How angry?
Very. And rightly so.
And how did that anger manifest itself?
Well, Mr. Dell was not one given to fits of pique or shouting and screaming, but he made it very clear in his language that I'd let him down.
Was the conversation sufficiently granular that DC Idel would have understood that Lindsay was a woman who was part and parcel of the social circle in which your targets were moving?
I cannot remember, sir. Obviously, at some stage, DC Idel, I'm sure, will be asked about this. It would need to be directed to him.
Moving on to managers who were not in post at the time that you were deceiving Lindsay, but came later. So people like DCI McKinney, DCI Flood, DI HN72, Sergeant Gilbertson, and Sergeant HN30. To the best of your knowledge, I'll let you...
Thanks, sir.
To the best of your knowledge, did any of them ever come to know about your relationship with Lindsay?
From memory, I certainly would have had the conversation with DCI Flood, because I recall at the end of my posting, he offered me what we called the NUTAC course, which was the UC Criminal Undercover course. It was one of the problems I raised with him and explained to him that I had had this issue. He had said to me, yes, I'm aware of all of that. However, we are talking a completely different type of deployment that you would fit the character and the bill for. It would not be long term. I cannot remember regarding the other supervisors that you've mentioned, sir, as to whether we had that conversation regarding Lindsay. And by that I mean HN 72 and HN 30. I don't think I would have.
What is your recollection of what you told DCI Flood about your sexual relationship with Lindsay?
It was more of a general conversation. As I say, he invited me in for a one-to-one and said that he came from the world of the criminal undercover operatives, that he had been watching me, and he felt that when I finished my deployment, after a short break, I should go and undertake the NUTAC course. He gave me the reasons why he felt I would fit into that role. I then explained to him what had happened in my operation, how I wasn't sure that it would fit. I did make it very clear that I was very, very interested in that work as well. And he said, well, you need to go away and have a think, but this is not an issue. This is completely different type of work. You would not be deployed for anywhere near that length of time. And that, as I say, that was the conversation, really.
That's not an answer that covered what you told him about Lindsay.
Well, I referred to the fact that I'd had 2 relationships.
Why did you do that?
Well, because I felt ashamed of what I'd done as well, and I wanted to make sure that all the cards were on the table.
What was DCI Flood's reaction to you telling him that you'd had 2 sexual relationships in your undercover identity?
Well, as I say, he said this was completely different work. He didn't see the relevance, and that I should still consider signing up for the NUTAC course. I think he said, you won't get this chance again. It's well worth doing.
A reference to the NUTAC course?
Yes, sir. As I say, so there was not a great deal of... He was like, thank you for telling me. I don't think that's really going to be relevant with what I've got in mind for you.
Can I move now to your fellow undercover police officers?
Yes.
Can you give me a yes or no answer to start with?
Yes.
Did any of your fellow undercover officers come to know about your relationship with Lindsay?
No.
Can I move now to Bradford? There was an event in Bradford on the 7th of July 2001. Mm-hmm. We've got 2 pre-event reports from you and 2 ex post facto reports from you. I'll take you to the second of the pre-event reports. It's tab C97, sir, MPS 306231. Second of July 2001. If we have the text expanded, thank you.
Thank you.
Give you a moment to read that.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
So you are providing pretty specific details about no platforms plans to confront the National Front when the National Front seek to march in Bradford.
Yes, sir.
To what extent were you involved in planning of the confrontation with the National Front in Bradford?
I was not, sir. I did not have the contacts with the West Yorkshire section. That would have been other people within our group. I was asked if I could drive and take my vehicle and take people up, which I agreed to. And I was obviously told where to meet up, time and place.
What involvement did you have in no platforms discussions before going to Bradford about how they intended to behave in Bradford?
The discussion, from what I can remember, centred around obviously activities on the day. I think there was tension between the local community over the National Front sort of demonstration march. And so we were going up there to provide assistance and to stop that march from happening, was what I was led to believe.
And to what extent did you and your target group discuss precisely what was going to happen in Bradford?
Until we got up there, I don't think we did. I think we were going up to support the West Yorkshire section.
If we look at the last sentence of the second paragraph on the screen,
Yes, sir.
the intention is to avoid being penned in by the police and therefore keep away from any counter-demonstration in the hope of being able to ambush/attack right-wing activists as they leave the event or area. If you didn't discuss what you were going to do before you went, how were you able to report this on the 2nd of July?
So that may have been said to me. As I say, I would have related this back to my handlers, who would have then completed this intelligence report. Obviously, something along those lines had been said to me.
Well, is that right? Is this based on something specific, or is this just your supposition?
I would not say supposition at all. We were going up there to assist the West Yorkshire branch, who wanted to prevent this from happening, and the discussions that had been had were around we might have to get physical to stop this happening. Now, what that entailed at the time, I didn't learn until we got up there.
If we could take that document down now, and from tab C99, MPS 306264, please. This is the second of your after the event reports, 9th of July 2001. If we could have the text expanded.
Thank you.
If you could refresh your memory of that, when you're ready to have the page turned, please say so.
Thank you. Finish that page. Yes, sir.
Can I take it from your earlier evidence that you were present at this event in Bradford?
Yes, I was.
Were you present when the fight broke out outside the pub?
From memory, I recall a disturbance starting, yes. I wasn't in the fight per se, but I recall something. There were lots of people about, and I do recall there was as I say, in that report, I think someone that was known to be from the National Front was seen, and it degenerated from there.
Were you an eyewitness to that fight?
No, I saw the disturbance, but I...
When you say you saw the disturbance, can you help us? What
Yeah,
you
sure.
saw from where?
Large group of people, the building, shouting, gesticulating, and then people coming out from the pub and a crowd going in. That's what I recall.
Lindsay says she did not go to the event in Bradford. Is that right?
Yes.
Did you see anybody from no platform attack anybody?
Not that I can recall, no.
Did no platform ambush anybody?
I should clarify, sir, I'm talking about the London members. I did not see anything there. With regards to the West Yorkshire section, I didn't really know them apart from the one individual, so I would not really be able to comment if I'd seen, because I would have just seen the disturbance I've described and other such like. But from my group, from the London No Platform group, people that I knew and recognised, I did not see anything. I heard about things later, but again, that, as we all know, is hearsay.
Did you, with members of London No Platform, make any attempt to attack or ambush anybody?
I did not. I think I would spend a lot of my time trying to avoid the attentions of the uniformed police officers that were on duty. As to the rest of them, there were stories talked afterwards. Whether they were war stories or not, I don't know. But no, I did not. I do not recall seeing that kind of thing.
In the aftermath of the event, did any of the members of No Platform that you had been with claim to have physically attacked anybody?
Yes.
Being very careful about an anonymity, writing down the name if you need to, who.
Excuse me. Thank you.
Of those names, one is the person we know as Mario,
Yes, sir.
and another is Frank Smith. The third person is someone whose name we're keeping private.
Yes, sir.
What did Frank Smith say?
The discussion around that was that we had these placards that I think the West Yorkshire group had prepared, but the wood that was used to mount them on was quite thick. I would describe it as 2 by 2 blocks of wood, which was quite big, and it was discussed that these would or might come in handy if things turn nasty, as they could be thrown, and being quite thick and heavy would hurt people. And I heard reference afterwards that that is in effect what they've been used for.
When you say you heard afterwards, that's what they're being used for. Are you, we need to be clear, are you saying Frank Smith said that he had used the placards for that purpose, or is what he said limited to somebody else had?
I cannot categorically say that he had said he had thrown them. He had definitely said he had been part of a group that had been throwing them, and had been engaging with the local youth.
What did Mario say?
He had, himself and the other person, had disappeared off with other anarchist members of the West Yorkshire group, and again had engaged in throwing missiles at police as a group together. I think it was sort of, and again, this is my impression, so I don't know if I should say, but it seemed like it had been great fun. Launching missiles, what I was told was bricks, stones, things like that. I didn't see that because I remained with my Socialist Party comrades, because it was always, again, deemed that it was more sensible to stay with them.
Was there a distinction between the way in which the anarchist members of No Platform and the Socialist Party members of No Platform behaved?
I would say yes, there was. To put it into context, I had been deployed into the, if you like, the Trotskyist left-wing side of things because of the politics. They were viewed as being less chaotic than the anarchist groups. However, the advantage was that they worked together, so I was able to provide reporting on both.
Would it be fair to say that Mario's behaviour was quite distinct from the behaviour of the Socialist Party members of No Platform?
Yes.
Could we take that down now, please? Could we have up from tab C101, MPS 306392? We're moving now into August 2001, and this is a report about plans to confront the BNP's so-called red, white and blue weekend. Give you a moment to look at the text of that. I'm particularly interested in the words, they have no intention of taking on the BNP face-to-face during the day, but are hoping to be able to sabotage the site on either Friday or Saturday night. The sabotage will consist of criminal damage to vehicles, property, and the site itself in an effort to disrupt the meeting. Can you help us with how you obtained that intelligence?
My understanding was that, what you have just said, that would have come from the people I was alongside, and my understanding was that the actual intelligence had come via Searchlight or other such local left-wing groups who were aware of it through leafleting and things like that.
How specific were those you were mixing with about plans to damage vehicles, property, and the site itself?
That was talked about. The intention was to create as much hassle as possible. That was the idea behind it. Obviously, this was a small group that I was with, so there was no way you were going to take on a whole field full of right-wing activists.
If we move now to C105, MPS 306444. This is a further report a few days later on the 9th of August 2001, just before the weekend itself, with more detailed reporting on the planning, including reference to vandalising property, sabotaging the water supply, and physically confronting the fascists with roaming patrols. Can you help us again with how you got this detail?
As I said, this would have been passed to me. I do reference, am I okay to say his name? It's in the report.
If it's in the report, you can say it.
Okay, yeah. It would have come from Mr. Gilman, because that's who I've actually put down there, but it equally could have come from one of his associates. But that's where it would have come from, one of the sort of Socialist Party members of the group.
How was the water supply for the event going to be disrupted?
No idea. There was lots of talk. I don't think we got anywhere near it.
Well, that takes me to, if we can take this document down, C106, MPS 306469. This is a report about the day itself. I'll give you a moment to look at that, but I'm going to ask you whether you were there.
Yes, I was there.
Before you went, having submitted the reports we've looked at, which talked about plans to commit criminal damage, to physically confront people with roaming patrols, and to sabotage the water supply, had you discussed how you should behave on this event with managers in advance?
I cannot remember, sir.
Have you given any guidance as to what you should and should not do in terms of criminal activity there?
I think it would have been the standard advice that we were always given, i.e. behaviour in role, but not to exceed, serious assaults, all that kind of thing, completely out of the way. I don't recall anything more specific than that.
And it reads as if in the event it was a damp squib.
Yes, it was, sir.
Did you witness any criminal damage?
No, sir. As I say, there was a very heavy police presence all around the area.
Was the water supply sabotaged?
No. To my knowledge, we never got anywhere near it. Any of it, not the water, but the whole event.
Thank you. Can we take that down now? Can we go to C113, MPS 306652? This is a report dated the 3rd of September 2001. It's about plans to steward a march about hunger strikers later in the month. If we have the text expanded, I'll give you a moment to read that, but what I'm interested in is the source of the intelligence about Mr. Headley's reported attitude.
read it.
So how did you come to report that Mr. Headley believed that they should attack the right-wing opposition as they arrive in London in the morning and then around the periphery of the march?
I cannot remember this exact event. However, reading through it, I would have picked this up whilst we were having conversations, be it in a pub or in a meet-up, and that's where this would have come out of. As I say, my then thing would be to report that back, and my office would create the intelligence report.
Mr. Headley's evidence was that it's rubbish to suggest that there was a plan to attack anybody. This was about stewarding a march. Is he right?
No, but Mr. Headley's entitled to his opinion.
Do you have any recollection of Mr. Headley actually saying that people should be attacked?
Other than what I've just said, that I was present at the meeting and get-together, and I do believe it was Mr. Headley that made those comments, hence I've passed that on to my back office. No.
Could we take that down now, please? Could we have from tab B41, MPS 307737? This is a quarterly operation review of your deployment, covering October, November and December of 2001. Were you involved in these reviews?
Yes. Yes, I would have been. I would have been debriefed quite extensively.
Did you get to see the written document after it had been produced?
I'm sure I did, yes. I don't recall this, but I'm sure I would have, yes.
If we go over the page, please. It says at the end, to that end, NP will be seeking intelligence on BNP candidates and supporters, principally from Searchlight magazine, in order to carry out physical attacks on them away from police attention. In the period that you'd been deployed up to that time, other than the example you've given us about Slade Green,
Yes, sir.
is there any other evidence that you have for us of no platform carrying out physical attacks on targeted individuals?
The Cock Tavern would be the one example that I would give. There may have been others that were talked about, but that I was properly aware of because I was told all about it, the Cock Tavern, and my experiences around Bermondsey.
Bermondsey you described as pushing and shoving?
Yes, sir.
Of the police?
That's what I saw, yeah, and trying to get to the activists.
That is very different from a targeted physical attack on somebody away from police attention.
I understand that, sir, yes.
As I'm understanding it, other than the Slade Green election, you're not able to point to any other example of a physical attack on someone from the far right away from police attention. Is that right?
I did see physical attacks. I'm not sure if the one example that I'm thinking of was someone who was from the far right. I was told that they had made far right comments, hence they were physically attacked. But in this context, no.
And in terms of the intelligence that this was going to happen. What was the basis for that?
These were conversations that I had with the people that I was alongside, where these are the things that were spoken about.
There is a difference between vocally confronting
Absolutely.
the far right,
Yes, sir.
fearlessly confronting them and being prepared to defend oneself from them if they attack you, and what you're describing here, which is targeting individuals for physical attack, where that can be done.
Yes, sir. I was there to provide intelligence to prevent things like this happening. That's what I did. I reported back what I'd heard and what had been discussed and the source of it.
Did No Platform go on to target a BNP candidate or supporter and conduct a physical attack on them away from police attention whilst you were deployed?
No, I don't think so.
Can we take that down now, please? Can we go to MPS 307176, tab C125? This is a report dated the 29th of October 2001. It's about Socialism 2001, an event held at the University of London facility at Mallet Street towards the end of that month. Give you a moment to consider the report. I'm interested particularly in the matters towards the end of the third paragraph.
So,
So this event is, am I right, a socialist party political event
Yes.
turning on political discussion and education?
yes.
Mr. Gilman's comments, as recorded by you, the end of that third paragraph, Dan Gilman entered the debate and, whilst acknowledging the need for political education, also made the case for a physical response and the need for a combat organisation prepared to confront the right wing. Did he use the phrase combat organisation?
Oh, no idea. Can't remember. I'm not sure that I even used that phrase.
Were you there to hear Mr. Gilman
Yes.
make the case for a physical
was.
response?
This was.
In what terms did he make that case?
Well, as has been said there, Mr. Gilman would have definitely acknowledged the whole political education side of it, but I don't know who typed that combat organisation. I would have used the term physical confrontation, physically confront the extreme right wing where necessary. I can't give you any information about that. It seems odd to me as well.
Now, again, there may be a difference between, on the one hand, being prepared to go out on the streets and face down the fascists,
Absolutely.
and on the other hand, actually
Yep.
preemptively attacking them. You see the difference?
I do, sir, but I would also like to say that, and again, this will probably draw much merriment, but I always thought that's what the police were for, to keep the public peace.
That is indeed what the police are for, to keep the king's peace. But back to the question. That divide between fearlessly confronting and facing down the fascists on the street, risking violence if necessary, being prepared to defend oneself from that, on the one hand, and on the other hand, preemptively attacking fascists. Which side of that line was Mr. Gilman when he was making the case for what you have described as a physical response?
So I cannot remember. As I've said here, I would not have used the term combat organisation. It would have been more, we should be prepared to physically confront extreme right-wing activists where necessary. I am sorry, more than that, I cannot really shed light.
Isn't it extremely unlikely that anybody would speak at a Socialist Party conference urging preemptive physical attack?
No, not at all. This was a safe space to discuss ideas.
That's not how the Trotskyists want to bring about revolution, is it?
I'm not a Trotskyist. I don't know. I'm not being flippant. I sort of, from my readings of their doctrine, part of the struggle is physical.
It would be squadist, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Nobody's going to suggest that at a Socialist Party conference.
These things were discussed. Many things like this were discussed.
You say you're not a Trotskyist, understood, but you mixed with them for 5.5 years.
Yeah.
Mr. Gilman was never going to make a speech at the University College, London, urging squadist behaviour, was he?
This was the discussion, sir. It was a discussion about anti-fascist activity. I reported back, quite obviously, from what's been written up here, that this discussion had taken place. More than that, I cannot recall. It was quite a dull event, if I'm quite honest.
The way this has been written up is exaggerated, isn't it?
No, sir. I would have recounted this back to my handlers as per that. They would have put it into their own words.
Can we take that down now, please? Can we have MPS 306937? This is tab C120, sir. This is a report 8th of October 2001, and it is about preparations to confront the far right Remembrance Day 2001. You'll see from the first paragraph that it's recorded that the aim is to disrupt the right-wing wreath-laying ceremony and to physically confront them.
Yes.
And the third paragraph sets out some of the tactics that you are reporting are going to be used. Give you a moment to look at that.
Yes, sir.
So you're reporting that there's going to be a fairly elaborate use of Mr. Gilman and Mario as decoys, deceptions on the telephones, and an organised attack on the far right.
Yes, sir.
And from the fourth paragraph, we can see, if one does the maths of adding 20 to 30 London activists and 30 and 40 other MP activists, you are warning your superiors that between 40 and 70 activists are expected from no platform. And your comment is that London No Platform are determined to make it a successful activity and to avoid spoiling by the police. Spoiling by the police meaning what?
Disruption, I think, but again, that would not be my words. I think they probably interpreted that I was saying it would have been to break up any kind of activity.
This event was an annual event, wasn't it, the wreath laying?
Yes, sir.
And it was always heavily policed.
Yes.
Can you help us with the source of your intelligence for the plot, which you set out in the third paragraph?
Again, that would have come from a planning meeting prior to the actual day of the proposed action. We would have had a meet-up somewhere, it would have been arranged, and this is where it would have all been discussed. I would have obviously fed that in as soon as I could to inform the policing plan.
Were you there on the day?
Yeah, I was, yes. I recall being there.
Can we go to tab C129 MPS 307340? This is a report dated the 16th of November. It's the after the event report.
Yeah.
I'll give you a moment to look at that, but perhaps let's do it paragraph by paragraph. Let's look at the first paragraph. The turnout far lower than you had forecast.
Yep, used to happen regularly. I could only report back what I heard at meetings.
Less than 20 people, a third of those were spotters or decoys.
Yes.
No attempt made to oppose the National Front march, and efforts to locate and attack right-wing stragglers were singularly unsuccessful.
Yes.
What did you actually witness?
I witnessed us basically getting followed around by police intelligence teams, uniformed intelligence teams. I didn't witness any disorder from the people I was with, but as I say, the whole part of my deployment was to try and disrupt things like this.
Can we go to the third paragraph, please? Who were you with on the day?
It would have been other members of the London No Platform group, so other Socialist Party members.
With the decoys or with those who were going to commit the attacks?
I don't recall being with the decoys. I would have been with other, more than likely, Socialist Party members and any other anarchists that turned up, but I didn't know them all intimately.
We've heard evidence from Mr. Gilman, who denies any planned use of decoys or phone deceptions, and whose evidence was essentially it was an annual event which was always confronted in a lawful manner.
I only ever attended one of these, sir. I reported back what I heard. More than that, I can't say. As I say, Mr. Gilman's entitled to his version of events.
Is your reporting on plans to attack people with elaborate decoy setups an exaggeration?
No, I don't think it was. I would have reported this back. This is what I would have heard.
Could we take that down now, please? Can we go to tab B47 at 74422? This is a flyer which has been submitted about Mr. Oalade and about a march for justice planned for the 21st of December, Lambeth Town Hall. My question to you is, can you recall whether or not this is a flyer that you submitted?
I cannot recall 100%. It is entirely possible. If I was handed flyers, I generally would keep them and hand them in.
What did you know about this campaign for justice for Mr. Oalade?
Other than what is there, sir, nothing. It has no recollection for me at all.
Well, if we look at the bottom of the second paragraph of text, it says in summary that Lambeth senior management is using its authority over Alex as a council worker to sack him in a bogus disciplinary proceeding. This attempt to carry out a political attack on Alex, a prominent critic of Lambeth management and the police, through his employment for Lambeth Council, is a gross abuse of power. Did you understand Mr. Oalade to be a prominent critic of the police?
I have no idea who he was. I would have just handed this leaflet in. If it was me that handed it in, I don't remember it.
Did you recall this as a particularly salient issue?
No, it was just literature that was being handed out.
And so if it wasn't salient to you, literature that's being handed out, why was it that once you'd read it, you decided to submit it?
I wouldn't have even read this, so I would have scanned it, folded it up, probably with other leaflets that were being handed to me, put them in my pocket, and then put them in when I attended the office. It would have been for the back office staff to decide if there was anything in this, not for me.
Do you know what it was used for?
No idea, I'm sorry.
Can we take that down now, please? Can we have from tab C140, MPS 30806? This is a report dated 11th of February 2002. I'll give you a moment to scan it, but I'm particularly interested in the third paragraph on the first page and your appointment as Chief Steward.
Read it also.
The third paragraph on the first page, which refers to you acting as Chief Steward for the SP section. Can you help us with how your appointment came about?
I think I was asked. I just said, okay. The whole Chief Steward thing for that was ensuring that you messaged people or rang them to tell them when we were meeting places and times. That seemed ideal for me, if I'm honest.
Ideal for you because?
Well, obviously, I was an undercover policeman. I would report back whenever I was told about a meeting place or a time for an activity.
And you're at the centre of organising the SP's stewarding?
Yes, the Socialist Party, but again, it really was quite a grand name for quite a basic job. I think sort of Chief Secretary might have been a better term for it.
And the SP section of London No Platform?
Yes, the SP section within London No Platform, yes.
Why were you asked?
I don't know. I was asked. My recollection is I said, not a problem. I think, obviously, I was trusted, I guess. I don't know.
Did this come out of the blue, or did you know it was coming?
I can't remember that, I'm afraid.
Did you speak to your managers about the prospect of becoming the Chief Steward of the SP section of London No Platform?
I don't think so. I think I probably would have gone back and had the debrief, hence this is what was talked about.
So when you did report that this had happened, what was the reaction of your managers?
I can't remember. So I think because it doesn't stand out in my head, that they would probably have said, okay, obviously you have to remain within the bounds of your deployment. But I think they would have said, that's okay, you're not in overall charge of the whole group. All you are doing is acting as a steward for the Socialist Party section, providing times, places, etc.
So can I take it from that answer that the duties of Chief Steward for the SP section of London No Platform were, for a period, discharged by you?
Again, I can't remember totally, but yeah, entirely, yes.
How long for?
No idea. I don't think very long, because it hasn't stayed in my head, really. I don't think I was very good at it, to be fair.
What weren't you very good at?
I couldn't really be bothered with providing and ringing people up all the time, so I would often get other people to help me out with phone calls or sending messages, etc. So I think...
How do you square that with it being useful for you as an undercover police officer?
Well, I would still be getting told the information, so I would obviously feed that back to my back office.
Things like phone numbers and email addresses?
Not really lots of email addresses, maybe phone numbers, yes.
We've seen from a number of your reports how you've portrayed No Platform as a group which planned physical attacks on people from the far right. If you are the Chief Steward for the SP section and Mario, the Chief Steward for the anarchist contingent, if you are right that this is a group which plans physical attacks on people, doesn't that put you in the command chain for doing so?
It certainly did not put me in overall charge. As evidence there were other people who still took overall responsibility. I did think it would be useful, and I think it did prove useful, for passing on intelligence to inform policing plans around activities. But again, I think discussions with cover officers, etc., were that this was a reasonable step to take. Being
careful about anonymity, writing it down it if you're not clear. Who was in overall charge of London No Platform?
It wasn't an overall leader. It wasn't that type of group.
Did you, as the chief steward of the SP section of NP, plan any physical attacks on fascists?
No, sir.
Is that because, in truth, that is not what NP did?
No, it was not my tasking to go out and plan attacks on anybody.
Did you carry out any attacks on fascists with anybody from London NP?
No.
Can we zoom back and go to the end of the second page, the end of the source comment? End of the source comment. The council elections are viewed as a gift to NP, as they will bring BNP activists out onto the streets where they will be vulnerable to attack from MP. Police attention is expected to be low due to the nature of election canvassing, and therefore the potential for violent confrontation is high. I'm having difficulty squaring that with the evidence that you have just given, that you were not involved in any planning or execution of attacks by MP on the far right, when you are reporting that it was thought the fascists would be vulnerable to attack. Can you help me?
I reported back anything that I heard or that was said. I do not recall planning or carrying out any attacks of the kind described there. If there are examples that need to be discussed, I'm happy to discuss them.
Would it have been more accurate to say that the view of No Platform was that the BNP needed to be confronted to prevent them getting a foothold, and that would involve going out on the streets to make their opposition known very clearly?
Yes, it would be designed to make them feel as uncomfortable as possible, and that can take various forms.
But not to physically attack them?
It did not happen, as far as I'm aware.
Could we take that document down now? Is that a convenient moment to take the morning break, sir?
Certainly. We'll have the usual 15-minute break.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Could we have up, please, from tab C170, MPS 309738? Mr. Soracchi, this is a report when it comes up from the 26th of July 2002, and it's a report about the Socialist Party and trade union activity. I'll give you a moment to look at it. I'm going to be particularly interested in paragraph 2 and the source comment.
Yes, sir.
So looking at that second paragraph, you are reporting that there is a belief that there's increasing militancy of unions such as Unison, the Fire Brigades Union, the RMT, Amicus, turning against New Labour, that the Socialist Party has activists within all of those unions who held positions of influence and could steer the increased dissatisfaction towards industrial and strike action. What was your understanding of the purpose of the Socialist Party's trade union members trying to increase the amount of industrial or strike action?
It was quite limited, sir, but obviously I came to understand that this was an entryist organisation that would seek to get into trade unions, community sort of groups, things like that, and seek to build upwards. More than that, as I say, it wasn't really what I was out there for, so I wasn't greatly interested.
Did you know these Socialist Party members who held influential positions within unions?
Only one comes to mind, sir.
Who was that? Being careful, if it's not a name we've already used.
Could I write it down, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll assume that name's private.
Thank you, sir.
The person that you've just written down, was he open about the fact that he was a member of the Socialist Party?
Yes.
And is it right that, generally speaking, those people from the Socialist Party who were trade unionists were open about their politics?
I can't speak for all of them, sir. Certainly, my understanding was that if you could join a union, you were to join it. I think people would have been open about their politics, yes.
And is that because the Socialist Party strongly believed in the trade union movement?
Absolutely.
And did they strongly believe that the way to get a better deal for workers was often going to be industrial action?
Absolutely, but there would also be other reasons for that, from what I was led to believe from talking. It depended who you talked to.
Well, that's precisely what I'm interested in. Can you tell us what your understanding of those other reasons was?
To cause issues for big business, to cause issues for capitalist organisations, local councils, and the running of services, because obviously that would create disaffection amongst communities, might push more people towards you.
Push more people?
Towards that side of the politics, towards the left-wing vision of politics.
Again, being very careful about anonymity, you said it depended on who you talked to.
Yes.
Who was making a case above and beyond getting the best deal for workers?
The only person that springs to mind at this time, I think I can mention him by name, or shall I write it down?
Err on the side of caution, please.
I really don't want to have to stop things.
Thank you. Yeah, Frank Smith.
Yes, sir.
And what did Frank Smith say?
He would talk about his experiences. He was a builder when I knew him, and he would talk about things they had done whilst he was involved with union activity to disrupt large building sites and things like that, to try and slow down the works, to cost more money in terms of contracts and things like that.
To what end?
As I said previously, to create disruption and obviously to run up bigger bills, to stop works, to stop projects getting completed, which again could cause disaffection in the local communities or amongst the workforce, and again you might recruit more people.
Did he spell it out in those terms?
Again, these were drinks we had when we were out and about in pubs, if not even on activities. Yes, it would be stuff that would be spoken about.
Was he saying that putting that sort of pressure on a business would extract more money from them for workers?
It could have been a part of it, but certainly the things that were said to me, it wasn't just about that. It was about creating a problem in the system.
Can we move to the source comment?
Sure.
The current success enjoyed by left-wing factions within the unions has raised the morale of the Socialist Party activists. There is now a belief that disputes will begin to escalate as a result of having more combative left-wing leaderships in place. What was your understanding of the significance of specifically commenting on that?
I think it was just to say that morale was good. That, as I say, they felt buoyed by the fact that there were more and more people were becoming unionised. As I say, this would have been me being debriefed, having a chat about these things. I didn't take a great deal of interest in the union stuff because why would I? But again, my handlers would have committed this to paper.
Can we take that down now, please? Can we go to tab C175, MPS 30998? Before we do that, I'm told that the name that you handed up before is open. We can say it was Glenn Kelly. Moving on to this document, this is about Mr. Frank Smith, dated the 29th of August. It reads, Frank Smith, leading member of No Platform, has apparently been offered an out-of-court settlement of £10,000 by the Metropolitan Police over his attempt to sue the organisation for unlawful arrest.
Yes.
Your comment, Smith is believed to be very happy with the offer and is likely to accept. He is seen as a hero for his actions when arrested and for his subsequent acquittal and now this offer. Much of the money will be kept to maintain Smith's lavish lifestyle, but he will also make a sizable donation to the Socialist Party and NP's coffers. That source comment, was it elicited as a result of a debriefing of the kind you were just describing?
Yes, this would have been talking to Mr. Smith, probably in a social setting.
And what I was driving at is you've spoken to Mr. Smith in a social setting. You are then debriefed by your managers?
Yes, sir.
Can you help us with whether you volunteered this to them or whether the detail in the source comment was something they elicited from you?
In terms of the source comment, I feel it would probably have been elicited from me. Again, I don't think I would have written it quite like that, but it would have come from asking me to expand on things, yes. I'm not sure I would have said Mr. Smith had a lavish lifestyle. I think I would have said he enjoyed socialising and all the rest of it.
Why did you report this information at all?
Report everything was generally the guide. So we would... Sorry.
No specific reason?
No, it would have just been amongst other things that I was reporting on.
How interested were your managers in this?
I don't recall them being overly interested, so I would say probably not very.
Can I take it from the fact it's been written up and reported that there was no criticism of you for reporting this?
No, I don't recall any criticism, no, sir.
Did they tell you anything about what they were going to do with it?
No.
Did you ever address your mind to whether it was appropriate for an undercover police officer in the service of the Metropolitan Police Service should report on the ongoing settlement negotiations between the Metropolitan Police and a member of the public?
I'm afraid I didn't, sir, no.
Did it occur to you that knowing the state of mind of someone in negotiations over a settlement would be very valuable to those who were trying to pay Mr. Smith as little money as possible from the Metropolitan Police Service?
No, it did not, sir, and I don't know where this ended up. As I say, I was debriefed, and that's where this would have come about.
Did it strike you that this information could be misused to Mr. Smith's detriment?
No, sir, not at the time. I wasn't thinking like that. I was just reporting back everything that I'd heard over the space of a few days as we were debriefed.
And can I take it from your answers to me so far, you certainly weren't told never to do this again?
No, I don't recall ever being told that.
Can we take that down now, please? Can we have up from tab B61 the document ending 10203? This is a file note. Mm-hmm. It bears Michael Dell's initials at the bottom. It's dated the 13th of September 2002. Mm-hmm. It says 3 issues were discussed the previous day at West. And the initials there, would I be right? Craggy Island is a reference to CI, reference yes. to Craggy Island U. Yes. Steve Beals, yes. Michael Dell. Mm-hmm. Paragraph 1, moving in with Weary A, and the A stands for the activist we are calling Alfred. Okay. Craggy Island will try to avoid doing so, but he and his wife are prepared for it if necessary. Yep. SB and MD reiterated their concerns about the effects on family life, and it was agreed that should such a move occur, it would be reviewed after no more than 6 months, with those effects the overriding concern. Craggy Island was pleased that A was now talking about moving in with the Belgian activist P. Further, other wearies are telling Craggy Island that moving in with A would not work. Just to explore that a little bit, in what circumstances had you come to be discussing with your managers the possibility of moving in with Alfred?
I can't remember exactly. I think one of the drivers for that, obviously I lived in private rented accommodation at that time in Hackney, I think it was Mare Street. Obviously that cost an awful lot. These groups of people would watch out for each other, and I think it became known how much I was having to spend a month, and they came up with ideas to try and assist me, and one of those was moving in with A. In terms of P, the Belgian activist, I can't remember who that is.
That may not matter.
Okay.
The fact that you are having a meeting with your managers about accommodation, can I take it that managers did take an interest in where you were living and who you were living with?
I think so, yes. Obviously, I don't think I saw this note at the time, but they obviously were interested.
Says in the first line, he and his wife are prepared for it if necessary.
Yep.
Can I take it from that you had spoken to your then wife about the possibility of living with a male activist?
Yes, it's written there, so obviously I think it was discussed.
Can you help us with the gist of the conversation you had with your wife and her attitude to that?
I'm afraid I can't. I don't remember it. I just am reading it there.
Can we take it that there was at least some concern that it might affect family life?
Indeed. I mean, these were regular conversations. This is part of what drove us apart, my sort of working conditions and the way I carried out my work.
And can I take it from this document that your managers, although they might have had some caution in permitting you to live with an activist, were certainly not ruling it out?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Did they discuss with you pros and cons?
Not that I can remember, no. I think it was a discussion. I'm sure there would have been something, but I don't remember that.
Can you recall now what their attitude was?
I think with all of these things, there's a very much an attitude of how do we facilitate this? What are the risks? How can we move it on? If this works as part of your legend, why not give it a go? But again, you know, you'd have to direct that to them really, but that was my impression.
If we move on to paragraph 2, it says, linked to the above, moving out of FP's flat. It's FP a reference to fever pitch, the code name for the officer we call HN77.
Yes.
And it's right, isn't it, that you shared a flat with her for a period?
I did, yes.
So does that refresh your memory that by this stage, you weren't living on your own in Mare Street, you were living with HN77?
Yes, it does, yes, sir.
And was that in Homerton?
I believe so, yes.
Goes on. At the demonstration on the 11th at Finsbury Park Mosque, Craggy Island and Fever Pitch introduced each other's wearies and it was plain that the anarchists and No Platform were united in a common cause, and perhaps more importantly, a common pursuit of that cause by action on the streets. Alessio L. chatted to NP for about 20 minutes. Both Craggy Island and Fever Pitch felt comfortable for further discussion with BG and FP. Says, linked to the above, moving out of FP's flat. In what circumstances had moving out of FP's flat come up?
I can't remember, sir. I don't know if it was from FP or if it was from the back office. I can't provide any information as to more reasons for that.
Was there any reason other than the one you've given earlier, namely that the activists that you were mixing with wanted to help you secure cheaper accommodation?
I mean, that is the overriding thing that I remember. There was, to be fair, a great sort of desire to try and assist where possible to save money.
The flat you were sharing with HN77, how many bedrooms did that have?
2, possibly 3.
Can you recall what the rent was?
No, sir.
Any idea at all?
No. I can recall the place I was in previously in Mare Street. I cannot recall this.
Was that a one-bedroom flat?
That was, yes.
And what was the rent on that?
It was around £700 a month.
£700 a month for a one-bedroom flat in Mare Street?
Yeah.
And the reality, which we'll come to in more detail in a moment, is that in the result, you actually moved in with Donna McLean.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly when that was.
A little bit later. We'll come to that, but
okay.
A few months later.
But I think this was separate to that, as I say, because it was a few months apart. I think I was trying to obviously sort out my accommodation. I don't know if it's resistance, but what I do remember is in discussions with my back office, being the single male that was looking for what I'd describe sofa surfing or temporary accommodation was viewed as quite a good legend building aspect as you went along, because I remember having those conversations as part of the overall deployment.
Did you live with HN77 until the time when you moved in with Donna McLean?
I think so, yes.
Can we take that document down now? Moving to Donna McLean,
Yes, sir.
her recollection of first meeting you was an occasion on which she says that you and Mr. Gilman brought some boxes to her, to a flat she was then living in,
Right.
to help her move. Can you recall that?
I would agree with that. I do not remember her at that time, but I recall Mr. Gilman. I had a vehicle and I was asked to help out with moving stuff.
If we move on now to what I might call your first proper meeting then,
Yes, sir.
was that at a Stop the War Coalition demonstration on the 28th of September 2002?
Yes, that sounds right.
And if we bring up it's a UCPI number 39714. This is the book Small Town Girl, written by Donna McLean.
Yes, sir.
If we can go to page 64, please. We see in the second paragraph on that page the background to that demonstration. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yes.
And is it right that she was a steward on that march?
Entirely possible. I don't don't recall her, but entirely possible, yes.
And were you?
Yes.
And there came a time that you, if we can take that down now, there came a time when you met.
Yes, later on, much later in the evening.
Did you meet her during the day with Mr. Gilman?
We might have done, but I didn't pay that any attention at the time.
And you say that you socialised in the evening. Is it right that there was a meal after the demonstration attended by quite a number of people, and both you and Donna McLean were there?
I wouldn't dispute that.
What's your recollection?
We would have eaten, definitely, yes, sir. But I can't remember where that was. I remember much later in the evening ended up drinking around sort of the environs of, I think it was King's Cross. But that's my recollection.
So, some socialising in company
Yep.
at a restaurant,
Yep.
drinking near King's Cross.
Yep.
Is that the two of you or in company?
No, it was a large group of us.
In company. And did it end with you sleeping with Donna McLean?
Yes, sir.
And where did that happen?
I think it was at her address.
And who initiated it?
I don't think it was me. However, I am not going to confront or argue with this. It had been a long day. There had been an awful lot of alcohol consumed. And there we are.
You say there we are, but I'd like you to take us through how you go from not paying any attention to Donna McLean during the day to ending up in bed with her. What happened?
I was performing a stewarding role. So we were divided up. So it wasn't that I was not paying attention. I'm sure we said hello. I said hello to lots of people that day. It was only afterwards, in the actual socialising bit of it, where I would have talked to her.
So you must have got on well with her during that evening.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And how did that come about?
Well, I can't remember, sir. As I say, we were drinking an awful lot. I'm saying me personally. I'm not talking about other people. I didn't count.
Would you have gathered during the conversation that she was a trade unionist?
No, I don't remember that, no.
That she'd stewarded on the march?
Oh, yeah, definitely that, because as I say, I'm sure we would have been introduced, because all of the stewards would have been introduced to each other.
When did you find out that she was a trade unionist?
I can't remember.
But presumably you did at some point.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if it was that night or on other occasions.
That she was a union representative?
No, I didn't know that.
Did you know which union she was a member of?
No, I'm afraid not.
You're sure, in a relationship that lasted approximately 2 years?
Absolutely. She might have told me, but it wasn't important to me.
Why did you enter into a sexual relationship with Donna McLean?
I think at the time, and I'd only just come back in to my deployment following sort of period spent in Italy and dealing with the aftermath of my mother's death. When I reflect on it, I was extremely vulnerable. As I've said, myself and my wife were becoming estranged from each other. And unfortunately, on that night, I feel I was very, very drunk, and we slept together, and I liked it.
Donna McLean was a friend of Dan Gilman, wasn't she?
Yes.
And of Joe Batty?
I knew that she had definitely worked with Dan and I think Joe in a previous job somewhere.
And as we've seen, you were reporting extensively on both of those men.
Yes, I was.
To what extent did the fact that Donna McLean was moving in the same circles as your targets influence your decision to sleep with Donna McLean?
It did not come into it for me at that stage. I think I discovered that they no longer worked in the same environment together. It wasn't about that. I found her attractive, and I let myself down. I was, a vulnerable stage in my life, and it just seemed like a good idea, really. Obviously, on reflection, I understand just quite how bad an idea that was.
You've put forward the then recent death of your mother,
Yeah.
and the deteriorating stage of your marriage as reasons,
Yes, sir.
For failing to restrain yourself. Neither of those reasons applied when you started the relationship with Lindsay.
No, they were different.
Why should we accept that those reasons made all the difference when it came to Donna McLean?
I can't answer why you should accept it, sir. I am just saying that that was my state of mind at that time.
Why didn't you seek solace after the death of your mother from your wife?
Because I wanted to get back into work as soon as I could, because I felt that would take my mind off of what had taken place with my mother.
Did your wife provide you with any solace in the wake of your mother's death?
I think, yes, of course she did. Of course she tried.
And solace from your wider family?
Yes, however, my sister was going through her own grieving process. And again, because of the work I was doing and because I wanted to continue in that role, there was not a lot of opportunity to see them.
And support from your managers?
I sat down with my managers. I think I was essentially told, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to keep going. I want to carry on proving myself in this job. At no stage did they say, well, we're not going to let you, we're withdrawing you. It was good stuff, we're glad to hear it.
Were they compassionate about the death of your mother?
Yeah, I think everyone would be compassionate. Yeah, I don't recall them sort of particularly sitting me down or anything, but I think they asked me what did I want to do? And I told them, and they said, okay, do you think you can handle it? There were definitely conversations about opening up to the people I was alongside, the target group, and being open and clear with them about what had taken place, and obviously that I was in the mourning process and I was feeling very bereaved. And they said, if you can accept that, then we're happy for you to continue. And that's what I did.
Did you confide in your managers at this stage that your marriage was in trouble?
I don't think so, no.
Did you confide in your wider family that your marriage was in trouble?
I might have mentioned it to my sister, but...
You could have done. You could have told your managers if you needed their support about that, couldn't you?
Yes, but that to me would have probably ended up with me being withdrawn.
Is that why you didn't tell them?
Yes, I stupidly still wanted to prove that I was capable of doing the role.
Because the reality is you had numerous sources of either actual or potential support to assist you with the difficulties you were having in your private life without the need to form an intimate sexual relationship with Donna McLean, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And that it is not an acceptable excuse to deceive a woman into a sexual relationship, is it?
No. Again, looking back, it was not.
As you are getting into bed with Donna McLean, are you giving any thought to the fact that you are an undercover police officer?
Not at that time, no. I don't believe so.
Did you give any thought to whether or not, if Donna McLean had known that you were Detective Constable Carlo Soracchi, she would have consented to sex?
I did not give any thought to that.
You should have done, shouldn't you?
Yes, sir.
And if you had addressed your mind to that question, the answer is she would not have consented had she known who and what you were.
I cannot speak for Miss McLean, sir.
She's very clear that she wouldn't have done.
Absolutely.
You should have addressed your mind to it, and if you'd had any doubts whatsoever, you should not have proceeded.
I agreed, yep.
And in fact, you should not have done it at all.
Agreed.
And by going to bed with her, you deprived her of bodily autonomy, by which I mean the ability to make an informed choice about consent.
Agreed, sir. Again, on reflection, yes.
Did you give any thought to your wife at this stage?
I did subsequently. As I say, our relationship was quite fractured at that time, and I carried on.
Can I take it that from that answer that you didn't give her any thought before you slept with Donna McLean?
Not on that first occasion, no. As I say, I acted upon impulse.
Did you discuss contraception before having sex?
I can't remember on that first occasion. I think so.
Donna McLean's evidence is that you did discuss it, and she told you that she was on the contraceptive pill.
Again, I'm not going to dispute that. I don't remember.
I took you earlier this morning to the draft letter that Lindsay had written to you in September 2002. And I asked you about the reflections that you'd had on the hurt
Yes.
that you'd done to Lindsay. You first sleep with Donna McLean on the 28th of September 2002,
So,
by which stage you knew just how much hurt you'd caused Lindsay, didn't you?
yes. I had not seen that letter, but yes, of course, I could imagine.
Can I take it you were entirely unmoved
No, of
by
course.
the hurt that you'd caused Lindsay when embarking upon your relationship with Donna McLean?
No, sir, I would not say that's accurate at all. But unfortunately, other things took over.
Well, you say it's not accurate at all. Can you help me? You accept that you knew that having a deceitful sexual relationship with Lindsay had hurt her. You're embarking upon another sexual relationship, which is deceitful and you know will have no future.
Yeah.
You must have known that there was a risk you were going to hurt Donna McLean as well.
So at that time, I have to be, well, I did not know that there was no future to it. I was seeking solace. As I say, that's what happened. And a longer term relationship developed.
At the very least, there was a high risk that this was going to end in tears, wasn't there?
Yes, indeed, yes.
Did you give that any thought at all?
Not at the time, no, sir.
By this stage, it was long after DCI Dell had made very clear to the unit that no one should be involved sexually with activists, wasn't it?
Yes, if you say so, sir. I don't remember the exact dates for that.
As best we can locate it in time, our understanding, based on DCI Dell's witness statement, as it was around September 2001, a year before this.
Yep.
So you were totally ignoring his instruction, weren't you?
Yes.
Can I take it that you did not tell DCI Dell when you started the relationship with Donna McLean that you'd done so?
Yes.
And that was because you knew he would disapprove?
Yes, entirely, yes.
Could anything have stopped you crossing the line and deceiving Donna McLean into a sexual relationship?
Nothing at that time, sir, no.
What did you think the prospects of getting caught were?
Overwhelming. I think a very good chance.
Why so?
Well, because you can't lie 100% of the time. And for me, in my head, it was just going to be a matter of time.
Before what?
Well, before I either had to confess things or was found out.
By?
Oh, any number of people.
Did you think the fact you were an undercover police officer would come out to Donna McLean?
I debated that very thing many, many times during our time together.
When you say debated, do you mean you debated whether you should tell her?
Yes, yes.
Short of a conscious decision by you, what did you think the prospect of Donna McLean ever finding out that you were a police officer was?
I don't know. This is a very intelligent person who I'm sure would have worked it out.
Did you consider that the likelihood was that she'd never find out?
No, because at that stage, my mindset was such that I obviously thoroughly enjoyed the relationship. I got an awful lot of solace and support, where I ridiculously was not getting it elsewhere. And I knew that with that, as we all know, the more you open up, the more chance there is that the truth will come out.
Did the chance of you being caught play any part in your thinking?
Not really, sir, no. I knew it was a possibility, but it was not something that was at the forefront.
If it had been a specific criminal offence for an undercover police officer to sexually deceive another person into sexual activity, would you still have risked it?
No. Don't think so.
Can I move now into how the relationship developed? Is it right that on that first weekend that you, having slept with Donna McLean, went back to your accommodation to get some more clothes and then stayed a second night?
Entirely possible, yes. Donna definitely would have at some stage come to the flat at that point in Homerton, so yeah, no dispute.
So we can take it that the idea that this was a one-night stand disappeared immediately.
Yes, sir.
Is it right that you discussed monogamy with Donna McLean on that first weekend?
I don't remember that, I'm afraid, sir. But again, lots of things were discussed. I was very hungover. So, yes, lots of things I'm sure were discussed.
Her evidence is that you raised it and said that that's what you wanted, and she readily agreed. Do you dispute any of that?
No, I'm not going to dispute it. I don't remember it.
And did the relationship quickly develop such that you spent most evenings, nights and weekends at hers?
We certainly spent a lot of time together. I was still obviously going back to my real world, sir, but yes.
You cooked a lot?
I like cooking.
You professed love for her?
Yeah.
Every day?
Yeah.
You were generous with gifts?
Absolutely. It's part of my character. But yes.
And you put real thought into what you should buy?
Absolutely.
Gifts such as coffee cups?
Yes.
Designer gear?
Yeah.
Sunglasses?
Yeah.
Long boots?
Yeah, I guess so.
Jewellery?
Yeah, yeah.
An Art Deco dressing table?
Yeah, as I say, sir, these, I'm afraid, I can't remember all of the details of these things. They, in that way, weren't that important to me. I just felt I was doing something nice.
A lot of sex?
Yeah, certainly.
Pretty much every day.
Yeah, at the start, yes.
Went out to concerts?
Yeah, they used to go at music scene with all of the people that I was alongside. It was
Football
part of
matches?
the life.
I beg your pardon?
Football matches, I think, went to one, yes. Might have been two, but definitely one.
Had people over for dinner?
Yes.
She was a socialist?
I learned she was a trade unionist. I was not aware that she had joined the Socialist Party until much later in our relationship.
Putting aside party membership, she was a socialist.
Oh, yes. Her political outlook was socialist.
And she'd attend the larger demonstrations.
Well, yeah, I met her at the Stop the War.
She wasn't someone you would describe as extreme left-wing.
No, that never came across, no.
Or a political activist.
No.
Above and beyond being a socialist,
Yes,
attending larger
Yes, sir.
demonstrations.
Yes, sir.
She shared with you at an early stage that her father had been physically abusive towards her mother.
Physically abusive, yes, I think that was shared.
And did you say to her that your father had been physically abusive towards your mother?
I did, as it was part of my legend that I did not get on with my father, so yes.
Why did you say to Donna McLean, after she'd disclosed the abuse in her family, that your father had been physically abusive to your mother?
I think at the time it was just a shared conversation about an experience. That formed a part of my legend, part of the reason why I wasn't living back in Italy, why I disliked my father, why I didn't have a lot to do with my family.
Were you seeking to closen the bond with Donna McLean?
That was not what was in my mind, but as I say, it was making conversation. But that was not what was in my mind.
It was going to evince some empathy, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
And
yes, but again, I never thought of it like that.
And it did.
Oh, of course. Reflecting back on it, absolutely.
And it must have been obvious to you that it would affect her emotions.
Yes, but the whole purpose of my deployment, when I was interacting with people in whatever way, was I'm afraid to get to know them and to push out my legend, my sort of cover.
Did you ever talk to her about Stephen Lawrence?
I don't recall, no. Again, it was a subject at the time, but I don't recall.
Might you have done so?
Entirely possible. Entirely possible. I would have spoken with that with all of my associates.
And what sort of things would you have said?
That it was a terrible thing.
What was a terrible thing?
His murder and the subsequent investigation.
His murder or the police response to it?
Well, both really. Obviously there was an awful lot of stuff in the press at the time regarding the police response.